Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Shakespeare again, and I'm here with the world-renowned, wonderful Liz Cross, psychic medium and remote viewer extraordinaire. How are you doing today, Liz?
I'm doing fabulous, thank you. World renowned is really a stretch.
In my world.
Yeah,
in
your world only. That's so funny. What do you have lined up for us today?
Well, we're going to look at some global things today. Can you get a link with Davos? Can you group the Davos? Davos is a place in Switzerland where all the people of the World Economic Forum meet annually. They all fly in on their private jets to Zurich, and then they go off to Davos and they have this sort of meeting. And it's become known as the Davos crowd, just because of, after where they all hang out at the town, if you like. So
okay, yeah, sure, I've got them.
Okay. How do they think the Davos meeting went this year?
How do you think the Davos
the forum
meeting went this year? It was good. It was productive. Listen, this is all about lining each other's pockets, okay? That's what they're doing. They're cutting deals with one another.
Yeah, they do. That's exactly what they do. But they also have, the World Economic Forum has the globalist agenda at its heart there. So, and we talked about this the other day, sovereign nations versus one world type thing. This is where a lot of their ideas, and it's a think tank for global control, if you like, for want of another phrase. So
yes, and the information that I'm getting through is the reason the billionaires want a one world structure is because that makes them untouchable.
Right.
Okay. Why? Because they're not going to be bound by any government, and they will actually be far more powerful than a one world structure. They're untouchable. You would have to chase them all over the globe, and you can't. There's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough money to fund the legal pursuits and the criminal investigations or whatever it is they're looking for. That's why a lot of these billionaires want this one world government. Now, that's what I'm getting very strongly from this crowd.
Yeah, and it makes sense, because if you've got that kind of wealth, not only do you want to keep it, but you want to make sure no one takes it from you under any circumstance. So, and then if there is only one world and one world rules, then of course, if they have enough, essentially they're buying their own protection that, no other jurisdiction can touch them. And so, okay, can we push them forward to the end of the first week of January 2023, please?
Okay, January 7th, 2023. They want to go 25. I don't want to go out that far. 2023, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Yeah. Ready when you are.
Okay. How did their agenda pan out for the rest of 2022?
How did your agenda pan out for the rest of 2022? It didn't.
Okay. All of it, or some of it, or
all of it. Most of it
did not happen.
Did not happen. What is on their agenda? Do you know?
Hang on. Okay. Well, why do they think it did not happen?
Why do you think that it did not happen? Because it's impossible with the economy at the state of the economy it is now.
Right. Okay. What are they going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? They're going to regroup next year.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of think tanks associated with this crowd. They pay a lot of think tanks. I didn't know that. They pay a lot of think tanks to actually, find out how best to push their agenda through. And they also do a lot of polling, political polling, throughout Europe and the rest of the world.
Okay. So they're essentially saying, are they essentially saying it's because the economy is so bad they have not been able to implement their agenda?
They've lost a lot of money. Is it essentially that the economy is so bad that yes, they've lost a lot of money. So a lot of this extra money that they have to fund all of these ventures and to, what I'm getting very strongly is they're looking for weak world leadership, because weak world leadership will ultimately, they can buy that country out. So follow our agenda, be part of our experiment. We're going to give you loads and loads of money to see how this works. And I feel like that's how they're going to start the ball rolling. Okay. But they can't do that because the economy's so bad that they've lost money too.
Right. How's America been doing for them? Have they gained control of America?
How's America doing for you? It's untouchable.
Okay. Why is it untouchable?
Why is it untouchable? Too many lobbyists, too many political hotheads. They expect this to be like a domino effect. So they would have to, capture the smaller countries, the vulnerable countries at first, inject a lot of money into them, and then they would eventually, the dominoes will fall. America and the big players, the very last dominoes to fall, but then they'll have no choice but to fall because nobody will want to do business with them unless they become part of this one world thing. Isn't that sneaky?
Yeah. How's their relationship with China?
How's your relationship with China? Very difficult.
In what way?
China doesn't want to be part of this.
I know. Okay. What about how's their relationship with Russia?
How's your relationship with Russia? Terrible.
Okay. Is that as a result of what happened with the Russian-Ukrainian war?
Is that as a result of what happened with the Russian-Ukrainian? They see this crowd, and I don't know who all is at this crowd or who this crowd is I'm probing, but they see them as pro-Ukrainian and helping the Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh, Davos is definitely pro-Ukrainian, yeah.
Who is Davos? I mean, who are these people?
Well, Davos it's a collection of sometimes world leaders, major political, major industrial, major business people. I mean, Bill Gates has been there before. People are invited to Davos, and it's a sort of a collective forum. But it's run under the auspice of the World Economic Forum, and they have their own agenda, and then of course there's all the side bets and the money things going off all over the place. And so what you said earlier, that it's about who's getting what from who, that is very true. It's ultimately about control, though. More important than money for these people is control and power and control.
Well, yeah, because power and control keeps them very wealthy. It means that the wealth is only circulating around those circles and not anywhere else. And to, they understand the whole philosophy about money. And the philosophy is there's only so much to go around. Okay. Yeah. And money is energy. So they get this. They know how this works, maybe even instinctively so. And they know that, to keep power and control, you have to make sure that the money ultimately is siphoned to them.
So, for example, this year we had, Henry Kissinger went, we had Sally Busby, she's the executive editor of the Washington Post. So there's the newspaper angle. Jimmy Wales, founder of Wikipedia, Nigel Topping, he's a climate guy. Soros was there. Catherine Besant, who's the vice chair for global strategy at the Bank of America. Jane Fraser, she's the CEO of Citibank. Adena Friedman, he's the CEO of NASDAQ, and people like that. You know, there are, it's not the same people that go there every year. You have to be invited there. But, you know, there is an outlying agenda which they want you to follow, essentially, you know. If you want to make deals and get money and do all those things, I don't think that's, you know, that happens, but I don't think, I mean, not that I've ever been, but I don't think that's the most important thing. So, you know, the money is not the thing, it's the control and power, you know.
Well, let's ask them. What is the most important thing? Is it money or is it control and power? So they're giving me money. But the reason they're saying money is because ultimately it leads to control and power.
Control and power. Okay. All right. Well,
there you go.
There is, of course, there is that truth. Yes. Okay. But a lot of these people have more money than they'll ever be able to spend anyway. So,
of course.
So it's, you know, to a billionaire, giving them $500,000 is not the, you know, it's not going to make any difference.
It's a nice problem to have.
It's a nice problem to have. Yeah. Okay. We need to drop them now, and I've got somebody else for you.
Okay. Dropped.
Okay.
So we've got Nicole Schwab. I've never heard of her.
No, she's a member of the executive committee on the World Economic Forum, and her father is Klaus Schwab.
Oh, okay. I hear his name a lot.
Yeah. So have you got a connection with her?
I do. I do have a connection with her. She's very neurotic.
Is she? Okay. How is her work for the World Economic Forum progressing at the moment, Oscar?
How is your work for the World Economic Forum progressing at the moment? I mean, it's slow. I don't know exactly what she does there, but I feel like it's a lot of just messing around. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it's a position, and it's a privileged position, and it's a lot of just whining and dining and chatting and schmoozing.
Okay. How does she think her father's doing with his agenda?
How do you think your father is doing with his agenda? She doesn't necessarily agree with her father. She thinks that is very old school thinking, and she's much more different than that.
Okay, but does she agree with the sort of headline, "You'll own nothing and be happy" sort of mantra that her father's been pushing out?
No, she says no, there's no way that could happen. That's not even possible.
Okay. Okay. Can we take her forward till the first week of January 2023?
Yeah, January 7th, 2023, 8 p.m. Eastern what? Standard Time. Okay. What would you like to know?
So how did the World Economic Forum's agenda do for the last 2 quarters, last 6 months?
Oh, how did the World Economic Forum agenda do? It didn't do well. I feel like they're dependent on research, and they get a lot of, what she's telling me is they get a lot of information by researching various individuals all over the world. That's where they can then draw up conclusions and want to inject cash into those certain areas to then promote a particular agenda, whatever that agenda may be. And I feel that it has not been successful. They haven't had the research funding necessary to carry out a lot of the work.
Is that because the funding that was promised has not materialized for one reason or another, or been withheld?
Yes, it's not, the funding that's been promised is tied up. They're having to really, really work hard to release that funding.
Where does most of the funding from the World Economic Forum come from?
Where does most of the funding from the World Economic Forum come from? Where does it come from? Billionaires.
Are they using it to buy influence or buy agenda or create the agendas?
Yes. It's useful. It serves a purpose.
How does she have any idea how this affects the ordinary man and woman on the street?
Do you have any idea how this affects the ordinary man or woman on the street? No, she doesn't have any idea of that.
Okay. Are there things that are going to be implemented through that in 2023 that she knows about that she can tell us?
I'm just going to switch my air conditioning off. Is there anything that you know that's going to be implemented in 2023? No, she just really focuses on research.
Right. And how's her father doing now in January 2023?
What's your father doing in January 2023? Remarkably well.
Okay. All right. That is the end of this one. This is a short video.
Well, and we hope to see you on the Patreon /remote viewing and beyond. On the Discord, you can interact with Mr. Shakespeare. He has his own little channel there. And we hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, Mr. Shakespeare.
Thank you.